Welcome to Midnight Fantasy Creation. Today we are going to be doing a journal or sketchbook, depending on whether I want to do it lined or blank pages. But I want to try it with this beautiful tattoo. I've seen people put the tattoo on first. I've also seen people put it on last. Either way, you're going to need to top coat it. So I'm going to put it on last so that way I can see it better. Yeah. All right. I also want to do it with a nice white background, but I don't want a plain white background. So I like this iridescent purple. There's no purple in this tattoo. It's got some blues, some reds, yellows, greens, but no purple. So I think it would look really pretty with a nice iridescent purple background. Actually, I might put it on after I take it out of the molds. And then top coat it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Because I'm going to brush the iridescence on. I'm also just going to dump a little bit on right away. Just so I'm not sticking a huge honking brush in there. And I am going to use my lovely angled brush. And just swish this around. And then we are going to mix some resin in white and try to get it as opaque as possible. Make sure you get it in all the little grooves, nooks and crannies. Oh yay, it does fit. Alrighty, that's all I'm gonna do for this one. Now we're gonna mix up some resin. Of course, before I started, I did measure, pretty much measure how many ounces this will hold. It holds roughly about 6. This is the first time I'm using it, so I may have to tweak that measurement. But 6 is a good start. Alright. Let's get that resin mixed up. The cover and back are going to take 6 ounces each. I'm only mixing 4 right now because I'm only do 1 at a time. So I'm going to be doing 4 for the top. That way I can put the tattoo on the cover and then seal it and make sure it doesn't wear off or come off. We'll see how well this works. Looks like I'm going to be mixing a little bit more than 2 ounces because I went a little bit over the line. And of course, I have to put gloves on again. And I am going to be trying something new that I just got from Amazon. Although I'm not too happy at how big they are. And I still link it in the descriptions below for anyone who wants to try these. So this is a pigment paste. And they are tiny little bottles. Like, I kid you not, tiny bottle. So I don't know how much of this is going to take. But we're going to try it. Now, I know pigment paste does not take a lot. You do need to, however, stir it. I did open a white one. Apparently, there's 2 white ones. There's that open one. So, I opened this one. We're using this one. It's the, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Maybe you guys can. I think it's Monarch Plain White, but I am going to try and stir this best as I can. Alright, I've got gloves on and a stirring stick, so I'm going to stir this up really well. And I'm only going to use the ink that is on my stick. It should be enough. Actually, that does look pretty darn solid. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to get the other stick. So this mixer comes with 2 different detachable blades. The first one I used was for black. This one I haven't used yet. So I'm going to use this for white, and hopefully I don't stain or ruin it. But again, putting it in first, turning it on, Mixing this for 5 minutes. Make sure you get all over, top, bottom, sides. Be gentle with your mixer, but still try to scrape the edges as best you can. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. We're going to shut this off, and then we are going to let this drip. And I got a baby wipe ready to remove any of the extra resin off. Alright, get this out of the way. So again, we are going to wipe as much of this off as possible with the baby wipe. And then I'm going to set it aside for now, and then I'm gonna hit it with some 99% rubbing alcohol to remove any more that I did not get with the baby wipe. And then I'm gonna rinse it with soap and water to ensure that it's nice and clean. I'm trying to get all those little nooks and crannies. This one has a lot of nooks and crannies. And if I'm off camera, I do apologize. Good for now. We're on paper towel so it's not getting everywhere. Not that it matters because, well, it's a nice silicone mat. Alright, now I have this in a tray already. Makes it easier to move it around as I need. There we go. And then we are going to pour this from up high, very slow to reduce any bubbles that may have been in this. And then we're going to let it cure. And then I'm going to take it out of the mold early because I want the front side for the tattoo. I may have to put a back coat on just to smooth it out, but I don't want it to get too thick. I still want room to put paper and all that other good stuff in here. All right, well, we're going to push this around very gently. I want to scrape the bottom. This isn't very thick, but it looks like there's too much resin in here. Actually, I might just tilt this ever so slightly. Worst case scenario, if I have to re-drill the holes, I will. Alright, that still looks like it's a lot. Alright, now I'm going to set this aside to dry on more level surface. Also, don't forget to use a little fire to pop any bubbles or any of the... So make sure you pop all the bubbles before you let it sit. I'm going to use this. Does a really good job of getting a lot of it. And then I'm going to hit it with some rubbing alcohol to get anything else that I may have missed. And I'm going to cover this and let it sit. And hopefully this shrinks a little bit. Alright, and then we're going to spray it with a little rubbing alcohol. 99% rubbing alcohol. Make sure that we get all the bubbles. You should technically babysit this. There's a little something that just went in here. Just to make sure there's no new bubbles popping up on you. But I am going to set this aside. And I will do that every few minutes until it is done. Alright, I'll see you guys when it's cured. Alright, I have this is nice and cured, nice and hard. It's not too bendy. Actually, it's pretty sturdy. For some reason, this corner did not get very thick, so I am going to have to thicken this a little bit in the back. But I might wait until I see how the front looks, because we are going to put top coat over this anyways. So let's get this tattoo out and place it where we would like it. I'm assuming this is a standard to tattoo because it does not have any instructions on the back like any of the other tattoos I've ever worked with. So we'll take the nice protective film off. Of course, when I got this in the mail, it got very crinkled. So hopefully that does not show. It is tacky. That looks pretty good. So we've got a nice wet rag. We are going to wet this down. I might make this a little wetter. Cup of water over here. And I'm just going to let this sit. I don't know how long it's supposed to sit for because it's been a while since I've done one of these temporary tattoos. I'm going to try and leave this on for as long as possible to ensure that the tattoo stays on the top. I'm going to leave this on for a minute just to be sure. I shouldn't be more than that. Right, it's been a minute. This is definitely nice and wet. I am just going to carefully pull this up. Oh, I forgot to take that off. That is not coming up, so I'm putting this back down. Also, make sure you clean this off with 99% rubbing alcohol. Make sure it's nice and clean. I did that earlier. You don't want anything getting in between your tattoo and the surface it's adhering to. There's some air bubbles in here. I'm going to try and do my best to work those out. All right, that looks absolutely amazing. I'm gonna let this dry. Oh, that came right off. That's fine. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna let this dry and do its thing, and then we are gonna Mod Podge over it. I think there's some air bubbles. Let's work some of those air bubbles out quickly. And walk those in there. Of course, this silicone brush that I'm using actually a makeup or beauty brush. I could not link this below because I got this at Salon Centric, and in order to shop there, get anything off their website, you need to be a licensed professional, which I happen to be. So I got this originally to do makeup and beauty stuff, but it doesn't quite work as well as I'd like. So I'm using it for my crafts instead. Just going to use a damp cloth to pull up the rest of that moisture. There's still some bubbles that seem I cannot work out. So we're going to hope for the best. Alright, I'll be back when this is dry so we can Mod Podge it. Alright, it has plenty of time to dry. It is not even tacky. I still going to Mod Podge it to make sure it does not lift while I put a clear coat on top. That's the last thing I need. And try not to get fingerprints anywhere. Because let me tell you, I do not want to rub over this with rubbing alcohol, but I will make sure there's no fingerprints for the Mod Podge. So just wipe anything down around the edges. Okay. So I've got this Mod Podge that I'm using. It is water-based glue, sealer, and finisher. And I'm going to be using a silicone brush. I'm hoping that doesn't leave as many lines or marks. Not that that's going to matter because it's going to dry clear, but I definitely do not want this to be too thick. Because the thicker it is, the longer it takes to dry, and I don't want this to take too long. Debating whether or not to go over this with a brush. I really don't want to ruin my brushes though. I don't know how well this is cleaned off. Oh, we'll find out. It's already starting to dry, so I'll give it a few minutes and then we'll do a top coat. Alright, that was 5 minutes. So sticking it in my little tray so I can move it when I need to. It also kind of helps keep it lifted off of the silicone mat if I do drip, which I hope I do not, because I do not want to ruin my lovely tray. But, and of course, there are tons of bubbles in there. I don't know if you can see that, so I am going to drip this slow and up high. Hopefully pop as many of these bubbles as possible. But I will use a lighter to get rid of anything else, and rubbing alcohol. And if you do both lighter and rubbing alcohol, remember to always use the rubbing alcohol last. Rubbing alcohol will catch on fire, and you don't want to set your project on fire. So if you forget, just remember, rubbing alcohol is flammable. Now I am just going to push this to the edge as much as possible. And that Mod Podge should help keep everything nice and sealed in. And you have plenty of time to do this. So take your time and make sure you get all the edges without going over. Holes might be difficult. Do your best. Hold those as much as you can. And of course you can change your own angle where you're looking so you can see how everything looks. You can always add more when needed. Of course, you can turn your project to get a better view anywhere you need to. See, this is not staying right to the edge. Hoping it levels itself out before it cures. I'm just going to pour a little bit more to make sure I have enough for that. It needs the whole thing, so I'll probably put something in this and then pour it in a small amount. We'll quickly go over it with a lighter, pop any bubbles, get it with some rubbing alcohol. And then set it aside on a level plane, table, shelf, anything level. Just let it cure. We are back. And this is done curing. I want to clean this off first before I show you. But I want to show you what I do with my scrap pieces because I do get a lot of little flakes and whatnot that either come out of the cups if you let them dry before you basically clean them out, or if you wipe them out. Obviously you're not gonna have these little scraps, but they also tend to flake off of the molds if you make a mess, which you clearly have seen me do multiple times. So I have this lovely little plastic recycling bin that I got from the Dollar Tree. I don't know if they still sell these, but you're gonna have to keep an eye out if they still do because these are freaking adorable. But they're convenient for recycling lovely little resin scraps. So if you are crafty and you want to save all these little bits and pieces, you can make really cool effects in other items, like with clear and like let it show. So I am gonna sticking them in this lovely little recycling bin because I freaking think this thing's amazing. That is what I do. I save all my little scrap pieces to work with other projects. Stay tuned for that because I haven't thought of anything yet. And like I said, I have plenty of little scrap pieces. So I'm gonna wipe this down real quick for you guys. I'm gonna need to fill my alcohol bottle. I also recycle my baby wipes. So this was a baby wipe. I used it to clean something off. It's really not that dirty, so I continue using them with the 99% rubbing alcohol until it's basically really disgusting, and then I throw them out. So that said, this right here is the top. Obviously what we did is on the other side, but I don't want to show you that yet. So when I did these, and you can already tell this one's warped, and I don't know why these are warping, but when I originally did these, they must have not cured level because it is thinner in some spots, thicker in others. Like the center of this, especially on this side, is much thicker than the edges. Like, I don't even know how that happened. I swear, though, I have tried leveling out several places in this office of mine, and I swear, depending on the time of day, the temperature, everything, the level of this building shifts. So I hopefully have solved that problem. We will see. With that said, this did not cure quite right. I'll show you. So this is what it looks like. It's super pretty, but it kept running this way. It didn't run off. If I put too much on, I probably would have eventually. So as it was curing, I was putting more on to fill in this area because this entire side was just like coming down. Unfortunately, for some reason, this corner cured way faster than the rest, and I left a mark, and I tried to smooth it out as best as I could. There you go. You can see it there. So it did that. I'm not I'm happy how this came out. This came out great. I'm not happy with this. So I am actually probably on another video when I get a polish. I'm going to try and sand this. If it works out great, you guys will see it on a video. If it doesn't work out great, then I'm going to have to scrap this and toss it all together, which I'm going to cry because this came out pretty good. And I'm despite the warping of, I can probably heat it up and flatten it out, but everything else, this actually came out really good. And I like how it looks. And I bought more of these tattoos so I can do more of these. So if you see this on my website on Etsy, I got more tattoos to do more of these. And when I get the polish in, I am going to try, again, I'm going to record it. And if it comes out good, you guys are going to see it. If it doesn't, then I'll probably either mention it in a video, that sanding and polishing, I'll probably show you how it looks regardless, but I won't bore you with the details. Anyways, onto the rest of this. So the back, I'm debating whether or not to top coat this because, again, same thing. It did not cure exactly right. I'm gonna have the same issue as I did with the front. I don't feel like dealing with that right now. I may just leave it this way and just keep this one for myself anyways, regardless if this comes out good or not. But I'm gonna show you how to do that, like put it together. And I have these little hooks or rings. They come in a 2-pack that are actually specially designed for these. And then I have paper. This one's lined paper. I do want to do sketchbooks that are non-lined paper, but I don't have any of that yet. So I'm going to show you how to do it with this lined paper because I have some lined paper that you can get online. I will do my best to link everything below, and you can get these in different colors. I have black ones. I was originally going to do this in black, but I can't find it. This one I think is a bronze green or something. I forget what they called this, but it's very earthy and it still goes really well with this kind of cover. They also come in gold, silver, like I said, black, and they come in, usually they come in a 2-pack, so you can do top and bottom views. So I'm going to take this out. So these hook together. So I don't know if you guys ever had any index card rings. That's basically how it goes. You pull it out just a little bit and then tug and it separates and they lock. So these lock really well. You gotta literally move it out a little bit and pull it open. So that's how that opens and shuts. So there's the paper, there is the bottom, here is the top, and then just lock it into place. And that is a little tight. I might need to take some paper out. You guys can see how, and these are very loose. So that is another thing you need to keep an eye on, is how loose these are. The looser they are, the easier it is they're gonna come apart. Like, that has absolutely no effort. I'm gonna need to do my research and see how to tighten these because they should not be that loose. So that's gonna be fun. For now, I will show you how this goes. You also can buy rings that don't have this metal piece attaching them together. I don't care for that too much because then they wiggle all around, and I don't want them wiggling all around because this acts as a stabilizer, so these rings don't shift as much. So you can use this like a nice standard book. Actually, that works really good, even though it was a little tight. It's working quite fine. So, and this is nice and sturdy. I want to use these for the sketchbooks especially because you can swing this bad boy around and look at that. You have a nice hard surface to draw on. That is awesome. I have these in, they're called let's see, this is an A5. They're called A4s. They're slightly bigger than standard paper size, which is awesome because it gives you a little bit of a lip all the way around. More so on the top and the bottom than the end, but it gives you a nice lip all the way around so you can keep this nice and protected, and it's nice, it's nice and sturdy and solid. So I am loving these. I can't wait to do more. In fact, I have all these tattoos that I am going to be doing the books in, and a lot of different colorful ones. This one's my favorite. I can't wait to do this one. I also want to do some of my own artwork. So I also got tattoo paper. If I want to have a clear background, obviously anything white is not going to show up white when you print it out on a printer. It's going to show up clear. So whatever you have backing your background on your resin is going to be what color shows through. Well, for instance, say this wool one, the roses, like the entire thing, if you put it on a blue, if you do your resin in blue, all this is going to show blue, and then the black is going to show, and nothing's going to show up white. So if you print it out on a laser or a inkjet, they don't have white ink. So all the white areas normally that the paper would cover for it are going to be clear if you do it on a tattoo. So if I do some of my artwork, I will be doing it on, well, I can use regular paper, or I have paper that's got a very nice iridescence to it already. I can do those. So if I want it to be white with a nice iridescent, I can use that paper too. If I do my artwork, I will definitely do it on that paper, and I will do this all over again for you guys so you can see it start to finish with my artwork. I think it's Polar Metallic paper from Red River. When I do that, I will definitely link the website in the descriptions below, like I've done with all the other stuff. So definitely stay tuned for that. And keep an eye out for the other ones too on my Etsy shop, because I won't show you guys every single one I do, but if I do something special with them, I definitely will video it for you guys to see. So that is that for this video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do enjoy it, please subscribe, or even just like the channel. It helps a lot, especially since I'm starting out. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any suggestions, or if you want to see something, leave a comment below. I am always open for, suggestions, and I hope you guys have a great day. Blessed be. And see you next time. Bye.